So, welcome everybody. I am so excited to introduce you today to Gus. Gus is from one of many companies that are there, PowerISA. Like, amazing. I want to know so much from you, Gus. I can't wait to do this. But you know what I do want, first of all, is to let all our participants know that this is being recorded. So if you guys do need to leave, it is going to be on our YouTube page later today. So definitely, take your time in that. Let us know what city and state you're from. Thank you, Tess. Let us know what city and state you're from, everybody. We're excited to get this. We've got everyone rolling in, so I'm going to wait before we start this. A few more minutes. We've got Salt Lake in the house, Beverly Hills, Stockton, Rybrook. Wow, look at that. Music City. Billings, Montana. I love this. So many different places from all over the nation, Gus. Everybody.
Oh yeah, it's a good mix.
It's a mix. Ventura, Orlando, Florida. Love that place. Houston, Texas, Austin, Brooklyn. Keep them coming, you guys. Let's go. Apple Valley, Charlotte, Vegas. Vegas, baby, Vegas. All right, so we've got quite a few people here. Let's see, do we have more people coming in? I want to start. Toronto, look at that. All the way from Toronto. Welcome, Sean. Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Wow, this list keeps going on. I'm so excited for this. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Gus, are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Hey, so let me introduce one more time. Let me introduce you to our speaker today. His name is Gus from PowerISA. He will be sharing the #1 converting cold calling script, you guys. Also, we talked a little bit more about, other scripts that you can share as well, like seller expectations and getting into that listing appointment. What are the few, different scripts that you can actually help us with here, share with us here? Objection handling. I know all of us have that. We have a lot of issues with objections and how to handle it.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of posts about that on LabCoat. So Gus, let's have you take it away. I know your company has been in the business for the past 5 years, generating seller leads, and your company has used created hundreds and thousands of leads, appointments, and listings for the past 5 years. So take it away, Gus. Talk to us.
All right.
Tell us more about what you have to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Yankee, the whole team at LabCoatAgents for the opportunity. So this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. I know people, when they think about cold calling is always polarizing in the real estate world, right? You either people tend to talk about it. They either love prospecting and cold outreach, or they avoid it like the plague, right? So it's very polarizing. It's very polarizing. But I think a lot of people are curious about it. They're interested about it. They want to learn more about it, either because they're a practitioner and they're already doing it. They could be doing it at a high level potentially, or you're someone that, maybe you haven't done it in the past. It might be intimidating and you want to learn more about it, right? So I hope we have all those types of groups of people. If I have some of those power cold callers, in the group, drop a message below, let us know if you do cold calling, you're a cold caller. We'll have to know if there's anyone like that, because there's a lot of folks oh, there we go. Hey, we've got some folks jumping in right now. Good job.
A lot of people are saying me. So we've got Chief. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but Chief says she does cold calling. Sheena Patterson, she's done cold calling. So this is great. This is wonderful. Let's dig deeper and see how we can
absolutely. And for the folks that do cold calling and the folks that don't do cold calling, one of the things I want to say is for example, us at PowerISA, we started the company doing cold calling, right? We started with our first group of 15, 20 ISAs. All we did was cold calling for real estate agents and real estate teams. So this is part of what we do. It's part of our DNA. Nowadays, we do many more things, right? We do a lot of Facebook. We do a lot of Realtor.com, Zillow lead conversion, appointment setting. We do the whole gambit. But we started in our DNA, our most experienced, ISAs started with cold calling. So I consider that to be a huge strength that the company has, a prospecting-based culture and prospecting-based folks.
Gus, let me ask you this. I know, sorry to cut you off, but how many ISAs do you have in your company?
There's 85 full-time in the company right now. Yeah, as of this morning. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty wild, pretty wild. Yeah, because Fridays you run payroll, so I know exactly how many people we have today, right? So absolutely,
Wow.
it's a big one. Yeah. So and it's a large company. But the problems that we deal with are when you're running a company like that. I mean, there's problems related to scale, right? Absolutely.
Right. Right.
But talking about scripting, about objection handling, about motivation and mindset is the same whether you are the ISA. If you don't have an ISA, you are the ISA in your business. And even if you've leveraged that out to 1, 2, 3, or 5 ISAs, a lot of these challenges are the same, right? When we're talking
Right.
about scripts, when we're talking about making them effective. So there's a
Right.
few things I want to talk about cold calling in general, Jackie, if that's okay. I want to
Yes.
frame the discussion a little bit, and I would love to get some input and some comments from the cold callers in the group. Do you guys agree with this? Do you not agree with it? Are you seeing anything different in your marketplace? But one of the things that I see as a challenge for folks when they're doing cold calling or when they're hiring us, PowerISA, to do cold calling for them, is setting proper expectations.
Right.
What should you expect from a cold calling campaign, right? What's an adequate, a realistic expectation from that? And I can tell you, when we started back in 2015, it was a different marketplace. It was a different world back then, right? We were still in a kind of a market that was on the upswing, a seller's market still, even back then. It's even more so now, but it was still a seller's market back then. But there was some very important differences, right, from a few years ago. The technology has changed, right? The anti-spam, unsolicited calling technology has gotten way better from 2015 to now, right? The carriers have gotten way better at detecting those calls, potentially not blocking the calls, but they will tag those calls. If you have an iPhone, you have an Android phone, it will tell you this is a potential spam call, right? This is potentially an unsolicited call. All those things are new. There's even apps. This is funny. There's even apps on the phones that if you get an unsolicited call, you can drop them a pre-recorded message to kind of mess with them. We get those. I mean, that didn't happen back in 2015, and this is it's just part of the game.
Changing every single day, right? Every technology is changing. Our way our clients are receiving information from us. Everything is so readily available these days, right? So what makes us different when we're doing cold calling scripts, right? What are some of the scripts that you actually, that really works for your ISAs when they're dialing?
One of the scripts, and when you talk about cold calling, people can talk about different kinds of scripts. It can be for sale by owner. Is it considered a cold calling script? Expired listing is considered a cold calling script. Circle prospecting. And when I say circle prospecting, I'm talking about the just listed, just sold script. That is probably the most popular one, the one we do the most, because it can apply to any market anywhere. Expired, you need to have a lot of expireds. FSBOs, you need to have a consistent number of FSBOs. Expireds and FSBOs can be very difficult to predict, especially in a really hot market, right? They tend to go down, right? You can't always see a ton of those. When the market was, when I was doing cold calling back in 2013, I could do 2 listing appointments a day just calling expireds. Calling expireds. This is 2013 timeframe, right? The market had been bad for like 5 years. It was a bad real estate, like a terrible buy, like a super hot buyer's market from 2008 to 2013 in my area, Seattle. So I could pick up the phone and shoot fish in a barrel and give expireds the good news. Hey, the market's back, man. Let's sell your home. I know you tried to sell it 3 years ago and you're stuck there. You're going to be unstuck, my friend. Let me give you a call. So, I think the maybe not 2 a day, but I think 22 in 1 month, 22 listing appointments, just calling expireds.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about expireds a little bit, Gus. So you say that way back when, that's what you did, 22 appointments a month.
From just calling expireds.
So right now, when you're talking to ISA, do you tell them to call expireds 3 years out, 2 years out? Because we don't see expireds these days, right?
Correct. Well, that's the biggest challenge that we see in the market that's so hot as ours. There's a reduced number of expireds. I used to be able to query expireds on a daily basis. Now you have to look for them on a weekly basis. You used to be able to find them on a city basis. Now you have to look for the whole county to get a number that's that's decent. So the number of them is a challenge, right? For sale by owners are a little bit different because as in some areas, as the market gets hotter, more of a seller's market, you'll see more for sale by owners potentially, right? So more people trying to sell it on their own. So it can be a little bit of a different story, but expireds was, it definitely has changed. Circle prospecting, though, is the one script that is unique across the board. You would do it 5 years ago, you could do it 3 years ago, you can do it today, you can do it tomorrow, because it is essentially calling the phone book, right? It's essentially calling the phone book. And you're just calling to tell them, hey, when you're talking about circle prospect, you draw a circle around a recently listed home or recently sold home, and you call everyone to tell them the good news.
Right.
Guess what, Yankee? This is Gus. I'm calling from Keller Williams. I just sold a home in your neighborhood, right? And it was amazing. And by the way, it had 3 offers on it. So there's two very disappointed people that I need to help find a home. Yankee, how can you help me, right? So it's about giving people news, sharing information, and letting them know, right? So that's essentially what circle prospecting is. And that is the one script that has probably had the most staying power because of that fact. But another key difference with the circle prospecting compared to expired and FSBOs is circle prospecting, you're not talking to someone that just listed their home. You're not talking to a motivated seller in the moment, like directly. You're talking to the general public, right? So the conversion rate, very different when you're calling a group of expireds than when you're just doing circle prospecting. So in an expired listing for sell by owner, you're shooting for the appointment. You want to meet them, right? You want to potentially talk to them about listing their home. You want to bring it up, or at least it's the first set of calls as you're trying to get the listing appointment. You're always thinking about the listing appointment.
Right.
With circle prospecting, that is not the game. It is not an appointment game, and it's not initially, right? You're just looking for anyone that might be interested in selling in the next year. You've got to cast a wide net with circle prospecting. But the idea is to generate those nurtures. We don't call them leads. We call them nurtures. That's what they are. You got to nurture that sucker, for a while before they actually start converting into those listing appointments.
Exactly.
But they convert. That's the important thing, right? You're always, it's a game of accumulating as many nurtures as possible. And everyone you talk to can potentially become a nurture.
So you just said something, and that is so true, but you just said something that is really interesting about circle prospecting. Give them the good news first. So you're coming from contribution, giving them that good news, saying, hey, and then giving them the problem, saying, hey, 2 more buyers couldn't get a home. We need your help. How can you help us, right? So you're first coming from contribution angle, and then you're saying, okay, how can you help?
Yeah, 100%. And it's so important. That's one of my tips. That's the first one. I'm going to drop that as come from contribution, add value. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Come from contribution. You want to add value during this cold call, right? It's very important. There's 2 reasons for that. One, they're more likely to be receptive. But there's another huge reason, Yankee, is it's the person making the call. For me, I'll give you my experience. It is much easier for me to make those calls when I'm actually having something of value to share with them than just calling them trying to get their business. Exactly. That phone weighs 10,000 pounds when it's all about me. It's hard for me to make those calls. I don't want the rejection. I fear it. I have calling reluctance, right? It's like, man, I don't want to bother these people during dinner. I don't want to have someone be in the middle of watching their soap opera. I don't, they're hitting their YouTube and their phone's going to ring. They're not going to be happy, right? So that is reluctance to call because there's an absence of value. I love that term. Absence of value creates reluctance. Bring value. You're telling them there's high demand in their area. You're bringing the good news, right? You want to let them know. You want to bring something. It doesn't really matter what it is. Yeah, it's a game we play, right? We're hacking in them ourselves, right? It's all about helping the consumer, and that can take many forms. And in circle prospecting, we just sold a home and had 5 offers on it. Man, I would love to find someone for these other 4 buyers that couldn't get the home. Who do you know that I should know that can help us out, right? So, and we used to call that script, I have a buyer script. It wasn't even like a circle prospect. I have a buyer. Or same situation, and this is happening for people all over the country. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buyers looking in the same neighborhood, right? There are no recently sold homes, right? I mean, raise your hand if that's happened to you in the last month or so. There are no pendings. There are no recently sold homes. Well, guess what? You can pick up the phone, create a dialing session in that neighborhood, and call them and go, Yankee, this is Gus with Keller Williams. I don't want to bother you. Just have a quick question. Do you know anyone that might be selling their home soon? Because I have 6 buyers that want to move into that neighborhood.
Exactly.
Who do you know that I should know
Right.
that can help you, right?
Right. That's tip number 2, you guys, right there. So calling buyers, right? Basically saying, hey, I have a buyer in this area. Who do you know that's looking to sell? That is a very interesting script, because those do convert at a very high level. Have you seen that when your ISAs are dialing that particular script?
It could definitely convert at a very high level. And actually, that brings us back to the expectations conversation, right? I always want to set and temper people's expectations on the conversion rates for some of these scripts, right? Because back in the day, I could generate a full-time ISA calling 8 hours a day, could generate 2, 3, 4, 5 nurtures in a single day. 2, 3, 4, 5 nurtures in a single day using scripts like these. Circle, and I'm talking about circle prospecting. We have a buyer, that those kind of scripts, very general, wide net kind of scripts. Nowadays, full-time ISAs hitting those lists, maybe they're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 in a week's time frame. I think is a reasonable expectation. It's a reasonable expectation, because it's just hard. You have to talk to more people now. You have to dial more. You have to dial more numbers to talk to the same amount of people that you used to in a single day only 5 years ago. Definitely the numbers have changed. What has also changed is the value of those nurtures, right? If they were valuable 5 years ago, they are enormously more valuable now as you add nurtures into your pipeline, because these people are going to be listing if they're thinking about selling in the next 6 to 12 months, they're going to be listing in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, right? These are the people.
Right. And follow-up is key, right? I mean, in anything we do, follow-up is key. No 100%. Matter what. Even if you have a nurture, you continue to follow it up. What is your follow-up process with these scripts too? Like, what do you say when you're following up with them? What is that one? What are the various scripts you have? Talk to us.
Excellent question, because that's another one of my tips. It's the follow-up process. So when you're calling an expired or FSBO, you want the appointment, or you want a quick follow-up to that appointment. It's very immediate. With the nurture, it's a different game. You have to understand that. With a nurture, the successful outcome is, number one, they didn't hang up on you. That's a great outcome right there. And you have a conversation, you qualify them. They are thinking of doing something in the next 6 to 12 months. And you end the call with asking permission to follow up with them.
Right.
You always want to end the call with permission to follow up with them. And you want to ask them, Janky, sounds great. Looks like you're looking to make that move. That's great in the next year. That's awesome. No pressure. I know this is early. Just want to chat with you. When do you think is a good time for me to follow up with you on that?
Right.
And shut up.
Right. And I just had Greg Lennon. That's a good point right there. To avoid cold calling, numbers listed on the do not call registry. I think that's also very important to know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a compliance aspect to cold calling, which is very important. I mean, the do not call list is one of them. I think that's why it's important to make sure when you're doing cold calling, a lot of the tools out there help you stay compliant. I'm talking about the Mojo dialers, the Vulcan 7s, RedX, all of these tools, they have built-in compliance features, right? So there's a way to be compliant and call these. It's also a reason that it takes more dials to talk to people now. That's the compliance aspect of it as well. And I'm not a compliance expert, I'm not an attorney, but my recommendation is use those compliance features.
Right.
The thing I wouldn't do, I didn't do this in 2015. I wouldn't do this now, is grab my cell phone and dial numbers off a list. That is a recipe for disaster. You do not want to do it. You can dial do not call lists. You can dial people that didn't want their phone number to be published off the MLS. There's a lot of things you can do wrong. Do yourself a favor, hire a vendor to get circle prospecting, expired fits. There's lots of them. Some of them are partners of LCA. You probably get a great deal on them, and do it that way. Do not get numbers off the MLS. A recipe for disaster. Fines and lawsuits and everything can happen because of that.
Right. So let's dive right back into our cold calling scripts with that big, due diligence that we just did to let everybody know about the do not call list. But let's talk more about scripts, because that's what we're here for. Give us a few other tips on scripts. So give us a few.
So that follow-up sequence, it starts with asking permission for the follow-up and asking them when is that follow-up is a good time to follow up. And then what we would do is what a lot of people do in the industry, whatever number they say, cut it in half, and that's your scheduled follow-up. Because they're typically going to say, if this is December, oh, call me in the spring, call me in the summer. Great. We're calling you in January, we're calling you in February. I mean, whatever. And that's true, guys. That's true. Because that number typically comes off the top of their head, right? And with the script we're going to share as our number one converting script, we actually ask that question two different ways. The follow-up question, because we're also going to be asking them about their time frame. When are they thinking of making whatever they're going to do happen? Right. And then you're also asking, when's an appropriate time to follow up with you? Because curiously, when you ask them about their time frame and then you ask them about when's a good time to follow up, that might not coincide. They might not make any sense. Saying, oh, Gus, I'm a year away. When do you want to talk? Call me in March. Okay, I'll call you. So once you've built some rapport, once you've talked to them a little bit, you've shown some of your credentials, they're like, oh yeah, we should talk sooner because I'm actually gonna do something sooner, Gus. I didn't want to give it away to you, right? But it's always important to check that time frame and ask permission for that follow-up. And then after that, it is a follow-up game. Whatever number they gave you, cut it in half. I would make sure I'm checking. So with a seller in this market, the minimum I would follow up with them is on a monthly basis. And that might be, again, if they're a year out, I would change it a little bit, maybe every couple months, probably is more appropriate. But with sellers in this market, I would find a reason to call them every month. Make one up. Hey, Yankee, I know we spoke last month. Guess what? I wanted to offer you the new market report I just came up with. I worked on it. It's on YouTube. Where can I send you that link? I think you're going to love it. Hey, Yankee, I'm giving a free giveaway of postcards. I mean, I don't think you give away postcards, but the reason the call doesn't matter. You're calling, and that call always ends. All of your follow-up calls are always going to end with, and how's it going for you with that plan to do whatever you're going to do that we talked about 6 months ago? How's that going, by the way? Because guess what? I just found ... whatever it is. You got to keep the ball rolling. You're always keeping the ball rolling. Right. And you're not trying to close for the appointment on these follow-ups. You don't know what their situation is. You just don't know. But making the call, dropping more value, Tessa, more value, that day, drinking game, take a shot, right? Value. You want to make sure you're dropping more value and you're checking in on them to make sure where are they at in that process. Because guess what? And educate them on the market. The market is doing this. It's an amazing time to sell. I have 6 buyers in your area. I just sold 3 homes in that neighborhood. Whatever that news is, move the ball forward, build rapport, build reputation, and check in on where they are on those plans. Yankee's like, Gus, I actually put it off a little bit. I'm not ready right now, this and that. Yankee, it totally makes sense. When's a good time for me to follow up with you again, right? Okay, great, right? If they move the ball forward, really, then say, when's a good time for me to check in with you again? Maybe monthly is a little bit too aggressive. Okay, when's a good time for me to call back and check in on you and see how things are going, right?
Okay, so Gus, can we do a quick role play? Can we do really quickly?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Let's do it. Okay, so you're going to be obviously the ISA, and I'd love to go ahead and I'll be the client. So let's do a quick script,
Okay, like the initial call or like a follow-up call? Which one do you want to do?
Initial call.
Great. Okay. Okay, it's great. And I'm going to use the script we're talking about in the webinar. So I'm going to use this, in this call. So this will be fun. So, and Yankee, you're there. You're a potential seller, right? I'm calling you out of the blue. This is the first time we talk. Okay, here we go. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey there. Is this Yankee?
Yeah. Who's this?
Hi, this is Gus with Keller Williams. I'm actually giving a call to all the neighbors in your area, Yankee, because there's been a lot of activity in your neighborhood recently. I bet you've noticed the market is super hot right now. And I just wanted to ask you real quick.
I'm really busy right now.
Okay, it totally makes sense. It'll just take 2 seconds. I want to ask you really quickly, do you or anyone are they thinking of maybe relocating in the next 6 to 12 months? Because I'm actually seeing some pretty crazy activity in the market right now.
Don't know anybody. What kind of activity are you talking about?
Well, funny that you asked. We just saw 2 homes sell around the block from you, over 10 offers.
Are you trying to sell me something?
Oh, no, definitely not. Actually, I'm here to bring you some great news, Yankee, because 2 homes around the block from you just sold for over 10 offers each, way, way, way above market value. And that had never happened before in this neighborhood, had not happened for the longest time. So I'm here actually telling the neighbors the good news.
Oh, okay. So you're giving me some information about the homes that are selling around here. Is that what I'm hearing? Are you trying to
Yeah,
sell?
yeah, 100%. I'm with Keller Williams, and we're a few blocks away from you. We work this whole area. Tell me, are you thinking of doing any kind of real estate moves in the next year? I'm just curious.
No, not really. We love where we live. We love our neighbors. I love to, be here. But it's good to know the values are increasing here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not thinking of maybe downsizing, getting something bigger, getting something different? No, not thinking about that at all. Relocating perhaps for work?
No, I'm very comfortable here.
Okay, love it. And let me ask you another thing. Do you know anyone that might be thinking of making a move in the next, say, 6 to 12 months? Because we actually have a lot of buyers trying to move into your neighborhood. It's a great neighborhood, yeah, as you know. It's amazing. Great schools, great area. You have a lot of folks wanting to move in.
Right. No, I don't know anybody here, but I'll keep in mind. Thank you for calling.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much, Yankee.
Bye.
Okay, awesome. So good job, right? Because a lot of the calls are that way, right? You always want to qualify for intent. Is there anything you're going to do? No. Is there anything do you know anyone that's going to do anything? No. You want to get to that 3 no's. You want to try and just qualify different ways. Ask the question.
Would you ever follow up with me though? Would you ever call me back in about 2 months and say, hey, we talked a couple of months ago, or any of that kind of script? Would you follow up with me?
So in a conversation like the one we just had, you wouldn't be on my follow-up list. You wouldn't be on my follow-up list. The reason you would be on my follow-up list is, for example, if you would have hesitated in any of those answers, hey, Yank, are you thinking of doing something in the next 6 to 12 months? Well, that's the key. That's that's the hook. Like, well, I'm not really sure. Okay, let's talk about that. Remember when I asked that second set of questions? I just wanted to jog your memory, thinking of maybe getting something bigger, something smaller. Actually, in this market, I would say looking for something with room for a home office, maybe. What are you thinking about that, right? If I were calling my area, which is the Seattle suburbs, hey, you wouldn't be one of those folks thinking of relocating because they're working from home permanently now, right?
Yeah, right. See, that is a big challenge for people. With all the people that we're dialing out, that is a big challenge where they don't have enough space in their home and they're looking to buy. So that is a good script to use.
It's a great one.
Having, for someone who might want to make a move, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great moment to bring in another one of my tips, right? This is something I call the 10-second rule. It's a 10-second rule. You have about 10 seconds to get someone's attention on the call. Probably less than that nowadays, right? Right. You have about 10 seconds. Within those 10 seconds, you have to let them know who you are, who you work for, because and a lot of places you have to do that because of compliance, another compliance thing. In some places you don't, but we always include it. Hey, this is Gus with Keller Williams, right? Just off the bat, who you are. And I'm here to talk to you about, there's a ton of interest in your neighborhood. Right. I'd love to talk to you about that. I mean, just get it out there. Get it out there. And they will either hang up immediately. It's a very likely outcome. It's not failure, guys. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. To get to that yes, you got to get to those 99 no's. That's just the way it works. And if they don't hang up, Yankee, that is the first step of qualification. Okay, they know I'm a realtor. I'm calling from real estate. They know I'm talking about how hot their neighborhood is, and they didn't hang up. Right. Good sign. Good sign. Okay, now let's talk. Right. Awesome. And then you want to have a conversation with the person, connect with them, build rapport, show interest in them, and run them through your qualification script, right? And it all starts with, hey, the market's hot. And you ask a couple of questions. Oh, so what, you want to sell something? Oh, absolutely not. I'm actually here to tell you about how awesome the market is. We just had this happen and so on and so forth, right? So you're telling them about, because then we kind of went off the script. Now we're talking about something local. And since I'm a realtor making this call, I know exactly what's going on, in that local market. We're doing this, we're doing that. This is happening. You want to bring that into the conversation. But those first 10 seconds is they didn't hang up, and you describe what you want to do for them, and you continue the conversation. That's a really good sign. Keep going.
And you came from your value proposition angle right there. In that 10 seconds, it's so critical to actually say what you want to say, introduce yourself and get to the point, and then move on in the conversation. If you're coming from contribution, right there and then is where you offer that piece of value, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Right off the bat, you want to lead with that. You have to lead with that. You only have a few seconds. It's always interesting for me to see some of these cold calling scripts, especially circle prospecting scripts, that have like a paragraph as the introduction, like
Right.
a huge paragraph. And I go, well, maybe this worked back in the 90s, in the 80s, right? This was people would stay long enough on the phone to listen to, or they wouldn't interrupt you. It would be rude to stop you from talking. Not anymore. This is not the reality. You have only a few seconds to get their attention and see if they're willing to stay on the phone with you and be receptive or not be receptive to your message, right?
And
so
that is right. And that is your 10-second rule right there.
Right there, 100%. 10-second rule. Understand, and you have to have that pitch honed in for those first few seconds.
Now let's talk a little bit about seller objections, right? I mean, not seller, when you're having objections scripting, when you're talking to them, setting that expectations, bottom line is you want to get that listing appointment. What are one of your conversion rates? What are one of your scripts that you use for high conversions?
Yeah. So, well, I do want to kind of bring us back to that context. When we're talking about in the context of circle prospecting, remember the goal isn't the appointment. The goal isn't the appointment. The appointment comes as part of the nurture process. The goal is always qualify. Every time you talk to them, re-qualify, right? What are they still thinking of doing what they wanted to do? Is their time frame still the same? Has it changed? Because there's this new development, there's some interesting information, there's something cool to know about. Because the third or fourth time they're having a conversation with you, Yankee, they might actually change. You know what, Gus? Yeah, this actually is happening sooner, right? Let's talk about it. Give me some options. Hey, you know what? Come over and let's talk about, hey, because Yankee, I can come over and give you a free market evaluation so you can have that information handy when the time is right. When can I swing by and do that for you?
Okay, that's a good aha.
It is a much easier. So this is the funny thing, right? Circle prospecting is a grind. It absolutely is a grind because there's a lot of work to get a small amount of leads out of it. Right. But the work to convert them to an appointment, it's less about being amazing at converting a script. It's less about that. We have a relationship now, Yankee. I've talked to you for the last 3 months. You know you're almost expecting my call at this point, right? And a funny thing happens when you do that. People build rapport. They know who Gus is. They know he's going to call. And you're staying top of mind for them. And you're going to get the business, right? You're going to get the business. And it's very different than those cold internet leads. It's very different than those expireds that 18 different agents are calling in the same hour, right? It's a very different situation. So I'll give you an example. One of our clients in the Seattle suburbs, we did circle prospecting for him probably for about 18 months, almost 2 years. He built a list of about over 1,000 nurtures.
Wow. Over
1,000 nurtures. This was 20, and he ended the campaign. Gus, I'm already too busy. I think I'm going to stop doing this. I just want to, I'm going to work the leads that I already have. Right. And I'm already getting a bunch of business out of this. I want to do this. And I want to put money into Google pay-per-click. So I'm circle prospecting. I'm done. I want to do, internet leads. So this is 2017. So he had a list of 1,000 nurtures. So this month, December 2020, he started his campaign back up again. He goes, Gus, I've been busy working that list of 1,000 leads. And he's one of the top agents in Keller Williams in Bethel, right? Totally 100% true story. Right. And he built a referral and recommendation business from calling 1,000 people on that list, right? They didn't all pick up. They didn't all become his friends, but 10, 15, 20 of those did transactions every year. Exactly. That's what he wanted. He wanted the 10 people that were going to sell a home in that year, and he could find them out of that list of 1,000 people.
I think it's very important how you say to that, how you say what you say matters in the first 10 seconds, obviously. Setting that expectations, that is important as well. And one of the other thing is, we talked about this earlier, cold calling in the now and what to expect, right? Yeah. It was very different from years ago. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one thing, like I mentioned, is you got to set the right expectation. It's going to take longer to generate these 1,000-person lists. It absolutely will take longer. The lists have become only more valuable now, right? So I'll give you an example. Cold calling in the now. We have never, for PowerISA, we've never launched more cold calling campaigns than this month, ever, in 5 years. We've never launched more cold calling campaigns than this month. And we have this conversation on a daily basis. Folks, you got to set the right expectation. This is not going to be a 2 appointment a day kind of campaign. It doesn't matter, Yankee. They're like, if I can build a pipeline of potential sellers for 2021, they'll do it. If agents have the money to spend, they have the leverage, and they want to build those pipelines, they're investing in everything they can because of the shortage of sellers we have right now.
Okay, so we have a few questions right here. Colette was asking which dialer is Gus using?
Yeah, so we use like an industrial sized dialer for a call center. So I wouldn't recommend that. It's very expensive and very difficult to configure. For the individual real estate agents and teams, there's a lot of great options. I'm not married to anyone. Our clients use Mojo dialer, they use Vulcan dialer, they use Vortex dialer. And well, for the kind of calling we're talking about, those are the best ones, or those are the most easily, they're the most accessible, the most affordable, and they can all do the job. They can all do the job. And they all do it a little bit differently. Some of them don't have like 3-line power dialers. They don't do that. But you know, it just depends on the kind of list you're calling.
So basically you said Mojo, Vortex, and which other one?
Vulcan 7. They have a neighborhood circle prospecting feature now. They didn't have it back in the past. And Vortex, Vulcan 7, Mojo are probably the most popular ones that we work with.
Got it. And then some of you asked if this is being recorded. Yes, I think Tessa just put our YouTube channel link right there. Scripts, I know that there's a question about scripts. Can the scripts that they're using be emailed to us? I don't know about that, Patrick.
So I'm going to drop a link at the end, and I didn't have it ready before the meeting. Sorry. I will drop it though, and you'll have access to that. A link with the script I'm using right now. You don't have to write down the 10-second rule. You don't have to write. I'm going to send this to you for free on the website. It'll be on the web. You can check it out whenever you want. And the tips, the script itself, which is a very simple script, and the top objections. You'll get all 3 of those for attending today. Thank you so much, audience.
Thank you so much, Gus. That is amazing. That's awesome for sharing. We all come from contribution. Guys, he's going to actually put a link in right here in the chat right after we're almost done. He'll go ahead and put a link there for us as well. So those are the few questions. If I've missed you, please retype your question right here. Everyone is saying thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Chris, from Krista.
Not a problem.
Okay, so another question that I had, and I love these questions, please keep them coming. But another question that I personally had was about, like I said, every dial that we do, different dials that we do, whether it's cold calling, whether it's expireds, whether it's FISBOs, whether it's circle prospecting, each of them have to embed the 10-second rule. I think, and that's what you were saying.
Oh, that's true. I don't think it's exclusive to cold calling. It's not. I agree with you. It's not exclusive to cold calling. I think that's true.
And I know somebody, I think Savannah said, hi from London. Wow. Hello, Savannah. Are you incorporating the COVID new imperatives to the conversations to your scripts?
So that's a really good point. So I'm being very generic because in some parts of the country, there's actually very strict restrictions on what you can do. There's restrictions on cold calling. In some areas, you can't even do it during the lockdowns. In some areas, there are no real estate activities that aren't virtual. So my recommendation is know your local regulation and apply those. I'm not doing it. I'm giving you the generic kind of happy case example, and I 100% own up to that. You have to adapt it to your local regulations. The area that I'm in right now, which is Fort Bend County in Texas, has essentially, they're very different than where I usually am, which is San Diego County in California. There's like 2 completely different contexts for COVID. So be compliant and obey those rules for sure, 100%.
Now, an anonymous attendee asked, are you also sending out mailers to the neighborhoods or nurtures?
Oh, okay. So really good question. So all of these marketing and lead generation activities, you can pile them on. And I think that's a very smart thing to do, right? If I had a farm, let's say, my old neighborhood, Mill Creek up near Seattle, if that was my farm, I would drop, Facebook ads in that area. I would be dropping mailers in that area. I would door knock in that area, when you can door knock. I would cold call in that area. So I would have focused all of these resources on the same area, my farm, because I want to work that area. I want to know it. So I think that's a really smart thing to do. And I think that's what the teams that do this at the highest level, that's what they do. The team that do this at the highest level, Yankee, they don't call expireds unless they're in their farm because they own that farm. If there's one expired listing all year, they're going to call it all year. because they want like this. I own this neighborhood and I own all the expired listings in this neighborhood.
Right.
Call them. And it meets their criteria. It's worth the trouble. They'll do a pop buy. They'll drop something of value physically at the home because like this is my farm, and they're not going to get 10 of these a month. It's going to be a handful a year, and it's worth if a FSBO pops up in your farm, you should be personally affronted. Like, hey, I need to show this person why I own this neighborhood, and work them on a personal basis. So yeah, absolutely. All of those things apply on a local basis. You can layer them on top of each other. They're not exclusive in any way, shape, or form.
But the other thing is right now, because of COVID, we have to be very careful. We can't go door knocking, we can't do pop-bys.
Correct.
Because you can't do any of those things, what are your recommendations? What are the things do you do when you're calling? What are the scripts that you're using, your ISAs are using to actually nurture in a particular neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the and this is actually, we started doing this in April. So we were doing a campaign in an area that's under lockdown, which is we didn't stop. So the number one thing I recommend people is don't stop making the call. That's the first thing. Do not make that mistake. Suspending lead generation and lead follow-up because you're under a lockdown order. Be compliant, right? So that's another thing. So don't stop doing activities to generate business. Be compliant with those activities 100% first and foremost. But you do have to change the tone a little bit. If you're in an area that just got hit by a hurricane, that just got hit by a fire, an earthquake, or a lockdown during the pandemic, you can't just call them up and say, hey, how's things going, right? Because that's a very insensitive, there's no empathy in that call, and you're going to get an immediate hang up, an angry, or you're actually going to get the angry person. Right. The angry person picking up the phone is not very common. It's actually kind of a myth among it's very, for the cold callers in the room, I mean, it happens, but it's rare. It's actually very rare to have someone really just have the time and energy to be mad at you. Right. If you call during an event like this, you'll get 3 of those calls a day of really angry people because you're being insensitive. So be sensitive to whatever situation is going on in the local area and change the script. I mean, you can actually change and say, hey, how are things going? How are you doing? Is everything okay, right? Because I'm an agent in this area. I'm calling up my neighborhood to see, checking in on people. Is it because I'm offering some kind of resource, some kind of list, something, right? Something of value during a lockdown and a pandemic. And I saw a lot of agents doing this in April, calling. They were helping out their local restaurants, local business owners because it was shut down. They were giving out, an agent was giving out single rolls of toilet paper around like their neighborhood, calling people, who that you need it? I'm here. I've got a 32 pack, and I'm gonna give it away. And who do you need? I mean, literally to get you by this week or this day or whatever. I mean, you can be creative with this. Right. But the most important thing, Yankee, is the script is gonna change. Don't stop doing the activity, the lead generation activity. There's no, I mean, right now, this is December of 2020. I am seeing a really interesting thing in the marketplace. A lot of realtors went out of business this year. That's a reality. That's true. A lot of folks lost their jobs and their businesses this year. Right. At the same time, I see realtors and agents having their best year in production ever. Absolutely. That is, both of those things are true. Both those realities are true. Right. You kind of have to try and, the things you do, the mindset you have, and your daily activities are going to indicate towards which ones you're going to gravitate.
Exactly. And what you do today will reflect in about 30, 60, 90 days. That's something I always tell my team. Here's another question. Do you have plans for individual agents, not teams? That was one of the
absolutely. So for like, having an ISA, you're just hiring an ISA from us. The reason that we work with a lot of teams is typically they're the ones that are leveraging and leveraging out some of these roles. A team can be 2 agents, though, by the way, or an agent and an assistant is a team. That's what I mean by team. So yeah, absolutely. It's not. We don't have team specific plans. It's the same offering we have for everyone.
Got it. Okay, and I think, and if you guys have any other questions, please do let us know, because now we're opening up. Obviously, we've been asking questions. We've been answering questions, but we can open it up obviously to everybody who has any additional questions. We have a few minutes left, Gus. Talk to us about the #1 cold calling script.
Yes. So the like year in, year out, the #1 script that we've used continuously is the one I use in the role play. It is, there's a lot of activity in your neighborhood. Do you know anyone that might be wanting to sell? I mean, I understand how disingenuous it's. Oh, that doesn't work. I'm here to tell you that script has been our #1 producing script every year for cold calling, at least for cold. I'm not talking about Facebook leads, Zillow, that's a different beast. I'm talking about the outbound prospecting. Nothing produces as much and as consistently as a script like that. Reason being, you don't have to have an expired listing to use it. You don't have to have a FSBO to use it. It can work in any market, in any situation, almost in any area, and you can be successful with that. And also, it takes a little bit of that pressure off because you're not shooting for the appointment. You want to build a pipeline of potential sellers. That's what, well, buyer sellers. I mean, both. You want both of those things. That script will capture everything. You're not being specific about listing. Anyone that wants to do anything. And I've gotten referrals from that script. I mean, we built such good rapport with the person. They used to live in Washington. They were living in Hawaii. They referred me a client off a cold call, right? Because we just ended up having a good conversation. So if you have a little bit of that gift of gab, you can talk to people. That's part of your superpower. Then I would 100% recommend hitting that phone, even if it's going to be as a cold call. So because as agents, we have to do lead generation. You got to do something every day to put one more person in that database. This is a great way to do it.
So another question we have is, can you share what you think the average conversion rates for are for circle prospecting?
So I would kind of flip it a little bit. I don't want to say like a specific percentage. I would say a typical circle prospecting campaign is going to generate 2, 3, 4, 5 in that range of nurtures on a weekly basis. So how many calls that take? That's going to change depending on the area. It's very area specific. It's very different in a San Diego, California, high density area versus a Tulsa, Oklahoma, very low density area. And people will actually pick up the phone more in Tulsa than they will in San Diego. We've seen this time and time again. There's less cell phones. There's less density of cell phones. And people will actually have a conversation with you in some of these smaller areas. So I don't want to give a generic, general average. I will say this. It's on the low end, it's going to be 2 to 3 a week. On the high end, you can still get 1 a day, like 5 or 6 a week. So I would put it in that range. Full-time person doing circle prospecting.
And another question, where can I get that script from Chi? I believe that is there's a link that will be posted.
Yeah, we're going to be dropping a link. I'll put it in there. Promise. We'll have it in there so everyone can take a look at that.
Got it. Okay, so any other last minute, suggestions, any advice for all our callers, right? I mean, all our callers, all our attendees here. What last minute you can share? We've got just
yes, absolutely. A couple more nuggets, a couple more recommendations, tips, and tricks. Number one, folks, especially for the folks that aren't the seasoned cold callers, you want to practice this with someone. So role play. We do role play every day, and we do this all day, every day. We still role play every day, because it's very easy to kind of get out of a funk. You want to kind of get warmed up. You want to get into the mood, and having a role play with someone else changes your game dramatically, right? You were going to get way better if you role play even a little bit every week with someone. That's number one. Number two, if you can do this is different in every area. If you can record the call, do that. Because when you listen to yourself, there's something happens when we listen to ourselves. It's always sounds different than what we think. I don't know why that is. Listening to yourself afterwards, going back and making observations, making corrections, is the only way to train someone to get better and quickly. That's how we train our ISAs. Whenever we can, we record them and we show them the call and go, hey, you did this right, you did this wrong, change that. Okay, great. That is the best way to train anyone. Train yourself on getting better, talking to people on the phone. Same thing for public speaking or webinars. Record it, watch it later, and see what you could have done better, it could have done worse, right?
Another question we have for Meeta, when someone asks, where did you get my number from? What is your answer to that?
Oh, that's probably the number one objection you're going to get, or near that. And this is on my list. It's going to be on the list I'm going to send you. Typically, I'm going to say, and I'm typically just honest. Hey, you know what? My IT department or my software provider actually provided this list because I'm calling everyone in the neighborhood. and so I got this. You got it from a list. Just be honest about it. Hey, you bought a list. You bought a list. You got it from a software vendor. Usually we're calling from a company. So my IT department generated this list based on people in Mill Creek neighborhood, right? Your name was associated to an address in that neighborhood. And then go back to the script. And the reason I'm calling is because of this. Like that, don't answer the objection, don't acknowledge it, answer it, move on to the next question, right? Move on to the next question, return to the script.
So we're going to end with this really quickly. Savannah, this is a great one, Gus, saying, can you please post the link? With a name like Gustavo Manuel, may I get a paella recipe?
Oh, well, I'm Hispanic, but from Mexico, not from Spain. But I love paella too. If anyone has one, drop it in the the chat. I love one too. But I do not that's like a Spanish dish, not a Latin American dish. But I'm tacos any day of the week, man. I can give you some good tacos.
Well, thank you for your time, Gus. We're just waiting for that link, and then obviously, yes, we are going to go ahead and let you guys know. For everybody, if you guys want to go back and listen to this, it is on our YouTube channel, LabCoatAgents. The link was posted here, and Gus is going to go ahead and drop in another link for the scripts right now, and that's about it, you guys. I hope you guys got a lot of information out of this. Wait, one more question coming in. Oh yeah, okay, so I think we answered that one. Well, thank you so much, Chi. I think that was a question from you. And that's about it. So any last minute words?
That's pretty much it. So actually I've got the link so I'm actually transmitting this from my phone. Let me give me 10 seconds, folks, and I will post the link in the chat. I actually have to reconnect with another account. Give me 1 sec. We will get this to you guys.
Yes, thank you so much for all this great information. I mean, it's so good to see, you sharing. Obviously, at LabCoat, we always want to come from contribution and help our, members out here, help our everyone that's with us, with all this good information. So happy holidays, everybody. And Amita, thank you. Happy holidays to you. Patrick, most welcome. That's what we're here for at LabCoatAgents. We're just waiting for Gus to drop that link in, but if you can't do that, that's okay, Gus. Maybe we could go ahead and share it in another way to everybody.
I dropped it, but I think it lets me put it to the panelists. How do I share it with everybody?
I will have someone share it. I think.
There you go. I think it's there. I think it's live.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gus, for your time. I really appreciate you. Hopefully we can talk soon again. And thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye.